Welcome back to the channel. It's time for A Minute with Mom. I'm your host, Tamara Johnson, and we're going to talk about using what God gave you. All right. So in my last video, we talked about taking a step, moving forward, doing the thing that God put in your heart to do that maybe you're afraid to do it, but I'm telling you, take that step and go ahead and do that. Okay, so did you take the step? You took the step? Okay, great. All right, now that you've taken that first step, you might find yourself in a position of feeling like, I took the first step, but I don't have everything that I need. I don't have, all of the funding. I don't have the equipment. I don't have, the essential things that you need to do whatever it is that you're doing, right? We've been there. I'm there right now. I don't have a recording studio that is to my liking. I have an office in my house. Yes, a very echoey office right now, if you can't tell. I don't have a ton of cameras. There's a lot of things that I don't have that could probably make my video way better. But I don't have those things right now. But what do I have? I have an office that is relatively somewhat quiet. Yes, I know it echoes a little bit, but give me time. We're working on it. I will find a solution. I have a phone that I can record on that records quite nicely, if you ask me. And I have some equipment. What am I getting at here? I'm getting at the concept. Use what you have. There are times when we're doing something new, and yes, if we need a specific tool and we don't have that tool, and so we have to go out and get it. But there are other times where we might not have the most latest and the greatest of tools, but we do have some tools. And in my case, I do have a stand that can hold my phone up. I do have a space that I can record in. I do have some of those things. I want to ask you today, what do you have that's currently in your possession that you can actually use to start doing the thing that God told you to do? You took the first step last week in our video last week, right? Remember, I challenged you, take that step. Now that you've taken that step and you probably figured out, okay, I need a few things. What do you have? What's in your hand? What's around you right now? Look around your space. Think about what God has already given you. If it's not a physical tool, what tools do you have up here? What information has God given you that you know that you have, that maybe you hadn't thought of putting that information to use, or maybe you didn't know that you were going to need that? I guarantee you, if you start looking around you, if you start thinking about and cataloging the information that you have some things already. You may not have everything. And I want to also say, you don't need everything to start. You don't need everything to start. All you need is to start. And so I just wanted to encourage you today, if you are doing something new, don't feel like you have to rush out and put yourself in debt, gathering all of these things that you think you're going to need. I would challenge you and say, no, start. Get that ball rolling first, because here's what I know about God. Whenever we take a step of faith and we move in the direction of the thing that he's called us to do, you think God doesn't already know that you don't have X, Y, and Z? Do you think he did not see that? Did he tell you that you needed X, Y, and Z in order to start? No, he didn't. He just said to start. So if he is God, which we know that he is, if he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you, what does that mean to you? That means God is already going to anticipate your need. And this is where, again, that faith walk comes in, where we're like, okay, Lord, you said to do this. I'm going to step out on faith and I'm going to do this thing. And then you come to the realization, okay, there's a few things that I don't have. All right, but He is God. He is the Father. He cares about the things concerning you. He already knows your need. He already has those needs available to you. Now, it may not be the right time for you to get those things. It may be a season of you kind of building your faith before he gives you what you need to continue. But the whole idea behind it is that he just wants you to start, and he wants you to use what you have. You don't have to be like everybody else. You don't need the latest and the greatest. You don't need every gizmo, every gadget. There's certain things that you just simply don't need in order to start. Now, if you are in a situation where you do have those needs and they are legitimate needs, because let's just be honest, a lot of times we think we need something when it's really a want. Can we just be honest about that? There's a lot of things that I want, okay? But there's also those things I don't need them. So I want you to really be clear on, is it really a need or is it a want? That's the first thing. Second thing is, I want you to understand that sometimes the way God operates is he wants you to get comfortable in that thing first before he puts another thing on your plate. And before you start looking too far down the road, remember we talked about that last week too, he wants you to just get acclimated with what you're doing now. Remember I said last week, focus on the step that you're on before moving to the next step. I don't know how long you're going to be on that step. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this step. I just know that I need to be obedient to what he's calling me to do in this season while I'm on this step. I hope this is making sense to you right now. So I don't want you to worry about not having everything that you think you need. You have more than enough. If God didn't want you to do this, he wouldn't have put it in your spirit. He wouldn't have given you the tools that you already have in your tool belt. Take an assessment of the tools that you've already gained and maybe are just not using or haven't had the opportunity to use it. That skill that you learned years ago that you thought, okay, I'm never going to need this. Why did I even take that class? Maybe this is the season for you to do that. And what you may not have realized is that class that you took years ago was probably preparation for what you're going to do today. That's how God operates in our lives oftentimes. I've seen it in my own life over and over and over again. Don't get caught up in the optics of how you want things to look. Just start. Just begin. Everybody did not start off, all of the millionaires, all of the people who ever invented anything, anybody who did anything good and great in this world, they didn't come out of the womb with greatness, okay? Yeah, it started from a seed. An apple tree had to be a seed before it was an apple tree. Are you getting where I'm going with this? So maybe you're a seedling right now, but years from now, you will be the apple tree. As a matter of fact, if you look at acorns, did you know that acorns are really the seed for an oak tree? Did you know that? I believe it's an oak tree. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because you know you're going to. But I do believe that an acorn, that little thing, if you bury it and it goes in the ground, it grows into an oak tree. Okay, so it had to start from somewhere. That is the whole point. And I know that I sound redundant and like a broken record, but I'm really wanting to reiterate that notion. You have to start somewhere. And you don't need all of the bells and whistles to start. Use what you have. Make the best of what you have. Be faithful to what God has already given you, because to whom much is given, much is required. And if you can't be faithful over the little that you have now, how can he give you the more? How can he give you the greater? So you also have to show God that you can be a good steward over what he has given you now. Use what you have. Use the heck out of it until it's broken and the wheels are falling off of it, until God says, okay, now move on to the next thing. Now go to the next level. Okay. I hope that makes sense for you today. This was just a quick video for this week, just to remind you, keep doing what you're doing, keep taking one step at a time, focus on the step that you're on, and trust God to do the rest. You know what I'm going to tell you. I love you for watching. Stay sweet, stay beautiful, and remember, there's always time for A Minute with Mom. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out and click that notification bell so that you can be aware of the next time I upload. Until we meet again, I love you for watching. Bye-bye.